Hello, my name is Bram Verbinnen. I work at the Technology Transfer Office of the University of Antwerp. So we are a classic technology transfer office. We do everything like the industrial contacts, the industrial contracts, but also helping to start up the spin-off. So that's my daily business. What I wanted to tell you in 5 minutes today is that we as the University of Antwerp, we also want to look beyond that. Not only do the classical things, so push the technology outside the university, but we also want to receive more the challenges of the industry. We really want to be an entrepreneurial university. So we want to be a driver in the innovation ecosystem in Antwerp. So what we want to do is to play a vital role in fostering innovation. We want to be a driving force by generating knowledge and fostering multidisciplinarity, and we want really to take the lead to build partnerships. We know that, of course, we are a classic TTO, so in most cases we are not yet doing that, but we launched a study some years ago. We had in Antwerp in 2014 for the first time a vice rector who is only responsible for valorization, and she is really driving the valorization within the Antwerp ecosystem, and she ordered a study on how we should implement this in our university. So first of all, we need to make sure what do we need to have in our hands to be able to be such an entrepreneurial university. And it's clear that after this study, we defined some things that we should certainly do and certainly not do. First of all is make sure that we focus, that we choose some dedicated domains where we want to be the driver in. We have to think outside in, of course. We have to listen to the needs of the industry. We need to be multidisciplinary. We have to make sure that we attract the people from the different fields to work on the mostly very difficult problems all together. And lastly, we have to deliver. We don't need to have, or we don't want to have the mindset, a project mindset, where maybe sometimes the research is more important than the results. But if we want to work more closely together, we have to make sure that we can also deliver for the industry. So what came out of this study? This study was performed over 2 years. First of all, what we need to have in hands, but also how we were going to organize this. And it was very clear. It was a study, and it was done with all of the stakeholders in Antwerp, so the investors, industry, the researchers, the government, but also the citizens. And there it became very clear that we needed, in able to do so, some physical locations outside university to make sure that not only the researchers would have a different mindset than within the university, but also the industry was more eager to come to us to develop some projects together outside the academic setting. And we choose, as said, 3 focused domains where we want to implement this. First of all, the domain of sustainable chemistry and materials, and the domain of metropolitanism, smart city logistics and mobility. Third one is that one is, of course, very logic for a large city like Antwerp. The first one about sustainable chemistry and materials, that's of course closely linked to the neighborhood of the port of Antwerp. And then the last one is all about infectious diseases and environmental health. And I have to say that these were chosen based on excellent research. So the basis is always excellent research, but from there on we looked further and we discussed with the industry where there were some industrial challenges that we could meet. So as I said, we really implemented or are still implementing those 3 physical locations. So for each of these 3 domains, we are now building or have built 3 physical locations where we will work together with universities. And I will just very shortly introduce them to you. So what we will do in the 3 locations is have a mix of our research groups, startups, scale-ups, and larger companies that will work together. And they will meet each other there, and they will discuss their problems and the solutions. So our research have a better overview of what are the challenges. And of course, the industry has a better overview of what is the current state of the art in a certain research domain. So the first one of them is the beacon. That's in the for everything that has to do with artificial intelligence, IoT. That's located in the city center of Antwerp, where we have now 2 research groups and 35 companies that are settled there. A second one is Vaccinopolis, all about infectious diseases, which is also opened this year. My last example, which I want to conclude and dig a little bit deeper, is the example of the physical location for all of the projects that have to do with sustainable chemistry and materials. And that is called our Blue App environment. So with Blue App, we really want to bring we want to be closer to the market and also de-risk some of the problems that the industry has. What you can see here on the slide is on the left-hand side, you see investigation, but then of course we all know that there is a valley of death, a big gap between industrial research and then implementation in industry. So what we want to do is with this Blue App is really bridge this gap. So in between investigation and implementation in industry, we want to perform projects within Blue App, and when they are mature enough, they can go on to other types of incubators or even larger sites. We have, for instance, Bluechem, that's an incubator building from the Port of Antwerp and the City of Antwerp, where also the newly started companies can then move further, and then they can move on to some lots within the Port of Antwerp where they can even mature further. To conclude, topics as an example that we perform at Blue App are research and projects on water as a resource, hydrogen, circular carbon and air quality. We have labs there, offices, pilot facilities. What you can see on the slide is our pilot hall when it was being built. And to illustrate that this works quite well is that in the last year we have launched 3 different spin-offs. Well, actually a 4th one is just starting up right now that are working in this field. And this shows indeed that with this, the driving force that we want to be, we can indeed attract new people and new ideas to be brought to the market. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I will be available for questions if there are any. I will be walking around here the whole day. Thank you.
Thank you, Bram. Just a question, very fantastic initiative. I like the way you put together in the same building, university building, the researchers, the spin-offs, and industry, and that's my question. I mean, I'm running the entrepreneurship area as well here in Madrid, in Uni Autónoma, and I find to some extent easy to allocate or to host the researchers with spin-offs, yes, but how do you bring the attention of the industry? I mean, the big corporates or the future customers of those spin-offs that we want them to be close to us, to finance us, to help them, and it's difficult to attract that attention. Any activity, any experience you may share with us, please?
Thank you for your question. What I certainly need to mention is that the model of how we collaborate with the industry in the 3 different buildings is certainly different. For instance, in the Blue App building, we really work on a project basis because we have infrastructure and knowledge available that is not readily available within a company, so they can de-risk. They don't have to buy the people and don't have to buy the equipment. They can work together with us and rent it. So therefore, we saw that we really need some engaged professors who already have contacts with the industry. That's very important. But now we can really offer them something to continue this collaboration, and that's the main asset. We see that a lot of those industrial collaborations, they just stop after the research has been performed, and then there was no possibility up till now to continue there. We have identified the coalition of the willing, as we call it. So the professors that really want to engage with the industry further, and they're also driving this. They are telling to the industry, hey, we can continue with this, you can move to Blue App and we continue our project there. And we see also that it starts working now as the building is there. It was very difficult to give this indication to the companies when the building was not yet ready. So we had to take the risk there. In the Beacon, for instance, we work on a different way. There we have it's more a rental system where the companies themselves can have a location, and there they can meet with the research groups. are also other accelerator programs and incubator programs running that can also feed the people that can feed new companies that can rent some space there. But we see indeed that this works. They want to be close to the research. And it's flexible, so they can rent a room for 5 people, for 10 people, for 20 people. And as I said, they will just meet during the coffee break and new ideas will be generated there. And I can safely say that with all of the people that are in the beacon, we work together with them, with all of them. So it's a very good interaction, but it takes some time indeed.